Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to learn what is an image. If we take a look at this picture, we already know that this is a container which has two processes on it. Typically, it only has one, but in this case, we just created two. But this process is in a sandbox, which gives it a namespace and some C groups to control it, right? But now the question is, okay, this is a container, but how do I create a container? That's another good question. And then is where the concept of image comes in the way. Then you may be wondering, what is an image? We can say that an image is a lot of layers in one whole compacted thing, which has a parent and child relationship. So let me draw some things here. Okay, so here on top of every single image in Docker, we have something called Scratch. So I think that it's better if I just do something like this and I type Scratch. Yes, it's quite better. So we have an image which is called Scratch, and Scratch is basically the base for every image that you are going to build in Docker. So it's like the base, it's like an empty the empty representation for an operating system. It's basically nothing, but it's like the base that you need to use to start building images, right? So you will always have this kind of base. The Scratch image will always be the base. Okay, so now that we have this base, you know that this is empty, so we need to put something on top of this. We need the basics of an operating system, remember? Because in an operating system, we run processes. So we need something which is an operating system. It could be CentOS, Debian, or Red Hat, Ubuntu, Alpine, BusyBox. Let's say that we're gonna pick up BusyBox. So I will just put here one line. Let me just grab this, which will represent the relationship, the parent relationship between these guys. Because here we have, this is the parent of this guy, and this just means the line that binds it with the second layer or the second level of hierarchy that we have here. So now let me just change the color here, and I will put another layer in this, which will be, of course, I don't know, BusyBox or Alpine, whatever you want. Let's say BusyBox. Let's say CentOS better, right? So on top of this Scratch image, we have now this CentOS image, which is kind of an operating system. It contains all of the libraries that an operating system needs to run processes. And now that we have this layer of operating system, we're going to pick up again this line for relationship, which should be green, I think. We're gonna put this line here, and let's change the color again, and we're going to put another layer on top of this layer. And here, let's say that we put some service, some process which will run in this guy, which could be any process, let's say an Nginx or an Apache process. So let's say Apache on top of this. See, that's pretty cool. As you see here in an image, I'm just gonna put here the name of image because that's very important, image. Basically, we've got our parent-child relationship, which starts from Scratch, and then on top of Scratch we put an operating system, and then on top of the operating system we put some processes which will run in this operating system. But if I change or if I modify this layer in here, of course this layer is also going to be modified because this is the parent of everything. But then at the same time, this guy is the child of this, but this guy is the parent of this guy. What happens if, for example, you want to put something in top of the Apache? We're gonna put another relationship here, and we're gonna put another layer to this image, which will be a cache service, for example. And well, this is basically the representation of how an image looks like, how's the skeleton for an image. It starts from Scratch, then it gives you the basics for an operating system, then you can put on top of that layer some process, and on top of this layer you can put another layer. But keep in mind that this guy is the parent of all of these guys, and this layer is the parent of all of this, and this layer is the parent of all of this. So it's obvious that if I change this layer, all of the child are gonna be modified, and if I change this layer, all of these subsequent layers are going to be modified. And by talking about this, there comes up a new question, which is then how do I build an image? And that is what we're going to learn in the next lesson.